Hello everyone, Tyler here, and today we're going to be going over the new title for Hamelin and his new Enforcer, which are coming out of the Malifaux Burns up expansion for Malifaux. So here we got the new title for Hamelin. So his new title is the Piper. My question is Hamelin back on the pipe? I like this title, but I like the original one more. Uh, because as you'll see, the original one focuses much more on his keyword, while this one is more just good model Hamelin to a degree. Uh, so this Hamelin, he loses a health and he loses a defense, so his stats are just down. Uh, and overall, this new Hamelin feels much more control oriented and sort of like negative debuffs to the enemy or oriented, while the original Hamelin was much more of a beat stick and relied much more on his own keyword. Uh, yeah. So for Hamelin the Piper's new abilities, well, first for his old abilities, he still has Demise Agony. So when he's killed, you can kill a stolen within 6 of him to heal 5, and he has 3 of those, and there is Totem. He still has Source of the Contagion, so enemies that start within 6 gain a Blight, and Nihilism, which has been nerfed from what it used to be, like 2nd edition, I think. So when he would gain a condition, he may discard a card to not do so. So that's pretty strong. But as you can see, he doesn't really have any defensive abilities besides that he can kill one of his totems to come back to life if they're within 6, and that he has some condition resistivity. Uh, Irresistible Dance, I think it seems sort of meh. It's just so they already have to be so they have to be within 6 of him and want to charge, and all it takes is one card, and that ability doesn't really do anything. So it's just an opponent might have to discard a couple cards a turn. Uh, so I think it seems meh. Like in certain situations it could be good. It's good on there, but I don't think it's anything crazy. Obedience. Uh, this one sort of is the new version of his old ability where you can remove a blight counter to make the opponent not be able to declare triggers. This is like that one, but instead of triggers, it's if they would draw a card, you can remove a blight token for him to have himself draw a card instead. Uh, and then his last ability. This one I think is one of his main abilities, sort of, for his new title, and it's Spreading Death. So this is a game-wide effect, and basically when an enemy is killed, place up to 3 of its blight tokens on models within 6-inch pulse of himself, and you gotta spread them evenly. So as long as there's 2 enemy models near each other, if you kill one that has blight tokens, at least 3 of those are gonna go on to the next guy. So that at least helps you keep the blight going once you start killing people. So next are his actions. So his first action, I think the one that's sort of going to define this Hamelin is Obey. So he's got Obey with a high stat. He does need a 14 for it to go off, so you need at least a 7. But it's got the suit built in. It also has a couple good triggers. Immediately push the target up to 2. That's good for like breaking engagement and stuff, Let you move the people around. And then Tainted Core, so target gains 2 blight tokens. Gaining 2 at once is pretty good, but I mean, these are mostly just if they happen more than anything, I'm thinking. And with a lot of Obey people, this sort of makes Hamelin want to focus a little bit less on his own keyword and more on just awesome models. A few good models that are in the Outcast that would be good with him include Mad Dog Bracket, that new Brawler guy, the Catalan Brawler. Uh, Nyx would be okay too, but you sort of want to be able to obey your own guys too. You want to have that in backup, so that's why the Mad Dog Bracket is arguably the best one to take with him then, because He's got a very good gun. Uh, yes. And also, I should say, Obey will be good with his new Enforcer, which we'll talk about later, because it has a very good ranged attack. Uh, so he still has bleeding disease, and he has a built-in trigger where if he kills the target, models within 6 pulse of the target gain a blight token. So, yeah. I mean, if you can get the blight on him, that's a way to just nuke him with bleeding disease, because they just take the damage equal to the number of blights. Piper's influence, very badass ability. One enemy gets stunned, so no triggers for it, no quick actions for it. Well, it takes a normal action, but you know. And then all friendly plague models gain a suit of their choice for all their opposed duels with the target. That is just awesome. So your guys are going to infect more, they're going to get whatever they need to do off their triggers. Uh, so then for his last action, eyes in the walls. So target a marker, enemy models within 6 of it each have to pass a well power duel or gain a blight token. Then summon a Malifaux brat into base contact with the target and remove it. So obviously this is going to be awesome against like people who need terrain markers, and it'll also be good to kill the enemy scheme markers. But basically, you get to kill something, a marker, and then you also get a rat out of it, and you can possibly even spread blight from it. So it's good all around. It does need an 8 to go off though, which is a little bit rough. So how does he compare to the old Hamelin, original Hamelin? Well, both have unique playstyles. Uh, Original Hamelin, he summons rats when blighted enemies die and can beat them to death with his staff. And the terminal trigger is insane on his staff because you can just give him a bunch of injured. Uh, he has a strong lure, so basically instead of an obey, he can just lure them. And he can cause AoE damage with the pestilent tumors. You just blow your rats up, and enemies get 2 damage and a blight token. So you don't always want to blow your own guys up, but it can be pretty strong. Uh, then his quick action is also awesome. All of your rats can move up to 3 and take a non-quick action. So that you can move them up to 3 and have them walk, move them up to 3 and charge. And then you can even give them focused if you got the suit. So that's just... I mean, the rats are weak models by themselves, but, oh, wow, I just realized. Vermin is actually Rat Kings too, I believe. Apologies, I'm editing this mid-video. I don't want to restart, but wow. That does make it, uh, a decent amount better. Yeah, he is a vermin. So, your Rat Kings can move up to 3 and take an action and gain focus. So that is pretty cool if you got your Rat Kings out. So personally, I like Old Hamelin more. I like more of the style of the crews where the keyword all works together to do cool things than like mix and match in the keyword, which is what the new Hamelin's going to want more. His obey is best utilized if you just have awesome people. So personally, I like Old Hamelin more. I can't really say which one is better myself, uh, but I personally like the old one more. Yeah, that's all there. So the new Enforcer Disease Containment Unit. So this is 7 Force Enforcer, 7 Cost Enforcer shared with Dashiell Barker, who's the guard uh, leader. So he has average stats, but he has Armor, Containment Suit, and Pursue, which all sort of help his stats. Armor and Containment Suit give him some survivability, and considering most of the Plague crew are not that survivable, he's a good guy to have around for that. He can tank a teeny tiny bit. Pursue just makes his actions better. well, his attack actions. So his melee attack is pretty meh, but like considering he has a really good ranged attack, it is nice that his melee attack at least does something, because you can have it do 2, 4, 5, which isn't awful. Or if you get the right trigger, you can drop a corpse marker and give blight. So I mean, at least it does something. Uh, and then and it's a 1-inch engagement range too, which is good for a guy with an awesome ranged attack. And then his range attack is flamethrower. So 2 blast, 3 blast, 4 blast damage, and the target gets burning +2. And it also has 2 pretty awesome triggers depending on what you need built in. So the first trigger is you can remove an enemy ski mark within 1 of the target, and a friendly minion within 3 may gain focused 1. You're giving your guy focused, you're killing an enemy scheme marker, and if all works out, you're going to have a 6 stat on the attack from Pursue. Because if a guy moves up and drops a scheme marker and already activated, well, he's right next to the marker, you're going to get Pursue, you're going to kill the marker, and a guy gets focused. And if not that, if you don't want burning, you can just give a blight token at range with the fumigation canisters trigger. Mass hysteria could be good in very certain circumstances, like you grouped up a bunch of enemies together, you hit them all with the blast, and you move them however you want. But that one's going to be harder to use because you're going to have a mask. And then rapid response is a pretty awesome quick action. You need a 7 for it to go off, and you got to target a marker, but it's ignoring line of sight too. So you get to move your guy up to 3 towards the target. All your other guys, all your friendly miles within 3, get to move 3 in any direction. Well, actually, they get to push. The disease containment unit has to move. They get to push 3 in any direction, and they get to ignore the hazardous effects. So, like, if someone was like, oh yeah, pyre marker, all your guys are on fire, this lets you yeet all your guys out of the pyre marker and move this guy towards it. Because he is immune to injured and poison and hazardous terrain effects. So, at the base minimum, you get movement, but if you get the right triggers, you get 2 pretty awesome things that are good in a Hamelin crew from it. First off, you can summon a beast minion with mindless from this crew's faction and base contact with the target. So you just get a rat. So it's obviously not as good if like there's like a giant burning pyre and you just like throw a rat in it because the rat's gonna have burning then. But like if it's a ski marker or something, that's very good. Then field kit, after resolving 1 friendly model within 3 heals 1, 2, 3. I mean, that's just free healing, and the plague crew doesn't have a lot of that. So I talked to a couple people, and I gotta say, I do think this guy does add a decent amount to the crew, because he is tanky, he has the movement, and he has a good ranged attack. He doesn't have as much synergy with the blight, but he has some, and he has movement stuff, and I think he's just good all around. I really like this guy as one of the new enforcers from the new boxes, and I'm gonna try to get this model because I like it too, and I think I'll actually play him a decent amount. So yeah. Yeah, so if you watched this video all the way through, please comment down below, just so then I can see how many people actually watched it all the way through. Second, if you're going to do that, also please comment if there's a new master, new enforcer, or someone you want me to do next. I have been, the first 2 videos I made, Jacob Lynch and Hamelin, I made them because none of the official people has revealed them yet. I asked Weird and they said I could reveal them, but they're 2 of my favorite masters. So I'll have to see if people have random other people they want me to do, and I don't really know a ton about their keyword because I don't know if I'd feel comfortable talking about something I don't know a decent amount about already. But I can try. So comment down below if there's any other Malifaux type of video you want me to make. Yeah, or if just a master. It's appreciated. My last video actually had some pretty good views and stuff, so I was happy. It seemed like a lot of people liked it. So thank you all for watching, and have a nice night.